Go ahead, start the game.
Hello and welcome to the Overwatch Oasis League. Here we have week 4 of tier 2 of our tournament with Pepegas facing against NA Ult. Pepegas trying to get their first win of the season. I am joined here by Wukong. Welcome everybody.
Welcome. Thank you, Charles, for the wonderful intro.
And thank you for stopping by, as this is the only Overwatch related event currently happening live. Do not look that up. Do not check anywhere else to see if there's any other Overwatch happening at any competitive level. It is just us and nobody else here. We're starting here off on Oasis in City Center. Wukong, a very dive-centric map usually we see here.
Yeah, I personally like this map for its brawling competitiveness and just the amount of stuff that can go down in the middle.
Fair enough. Here we have Gator and Jiro teasing us with that Rhine Diva to contest that high ground and brawl on the ground. Legit with the Torb as the counter dive. Looking like both teams will be running something fairly brawly. Wukong called it over here.
We got Mori on the Reinhardt, and it looks like they're running a similar lineup. Sebi on Zarya, and we got the two really strong DPSs, McCree and Reaper, and they look like they're mirroring each other on the supports with Lucio and Mora. I expected
not messing around, both teams straight to point. Gator and Mori already facing off over here on right at the center point, but Hydro goes down early right as we start. The Torb effective as ever from a close range. Gator goes in deep, gets chunked down low, but does stay up. Great start here on the side of NA Ult. Hero trying to claim some high ground, and Massman going down in the back, Mori following him shortly after, legit filling out the kills. It is a 6-on-3 here, and a very simple point A cap for NA Ult here, Wukong.
Oh, NA Ult took it really well right there, getting the upper hand on the first percentage.
The Torb here really putting in work. 2 kills in already from Legit as Gator gets their Earth Shatter online. Compare that to Mori, who's only 2/3 of their way there. This could be a huge game changer. The Shatter comes out, the entire team goes down. Fantastic work here from Gator, and that is 4 kills, 5 kills coming in already. Can we get a team kill? Chiba goes down as well, and it is a dominant start from NA Ult. Gator saw an opening and took it. Does trade their life for it, but it doesn't matter. Fantastic work. 40% and ticking, Wukong.
Very good on their side. Let's see if the...
Ooh, crits here already being chunked down long. Now the approach, you do not want to be running straight into that. With Legits getting the Molten Core online soon, that Torb so deftly in that small choke does come out, gets a kill onto Mori very early on in the fight, and that does look like a retreat for Pepegas as they are looking to fight without any barriers or their main tank. Mr. Link over here taking a lovely little off angle, just harassing that back line, comes back over to main, and Gator with that shield looking nice and healthy.
See Gyro with the Diva Ball. Hopefully he's gonna help him push him forward in the fight here.
Alright, the coalescence comes up from Jibba, the counter with the bomb. Doesn't get anything, no, doesn't get it, very deep and very low. Oh no, Mr. Link does get 2, but trades their life for Legit's Hammer. Fantastic work onto Mori, and it is starting to look scrappy here as we near 1-fight territory. Hydro found 2! Fantastic work as Pepegas starts to steam forward and claim their point for the first time this map.
Talk about Hail Hydra.
Gator, they're going very deep and immediately being collapsed on as Jibba used that coalescence to keep their team very healthy. Fantastic work over here from NA Ult, but they do have to play perfectly for the rest of this round if they want to get anything out of it. Here we have Biotech with the barrier, Sound Barrier, and Mooncat with the double support ults ready to go. Gator does charge the Earth Shatter, and we'll see another large shatter can come through again. And that is what we call a Matty Shatty, kids. The grab does come up, but gets eaten. Fantastic work here from the Pepegas, and it can be over very, very early on this map from NA Ult. Fantastic work, Gator finding another huge shatter, and it's just Jibba onto the point, and you assume that Mora will not last very long, and that is a clean retake from NA Ult. Wukong, no mid-fight to speak of at all, just a shatter, eat the grab, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and that's a take on to the point. That is crits alone with the sound barrier. This will be very tough going for anybody to contest as the Molten Core does come out. Solo Reaper on point. Death Blossom comes out. Great defense matrix from Hero, but they just swallows that entire ult. Hydra cannot touch the point, and it is a very, very dominant take from Pepegas over here, Wukong.
I like Zero's D.Va play. He was able to like ignore the counter on him with Sebi on Zyra trying to take out D.Va. Like he was able to overpower the Zarya as D.Va, which is rare to see, but he
and the way the heroes are designed with Sebi playing the Zarya and Gyro on the D.Va, it's just two very different philosophies on how to keep your main tank alive. Yeah. And we see here Gyro's D.Va never really took any off angles or took the high ground like you usually assume and expect from a D.Va, playing very, very close instead with the positioning of a Zarya, but extremely effective nonetheless. And here we have Oasis University kicked off and ready to go. Pepegas versus NA Ult.
We see a little lineup changing. The supports are still the same, but DPSs are mirroring each other now. Oh, the whole lineup is mirroring each other.
Gator goes down very early on. Massman takes advantage of that, gets the counter Reaper down, and this is looking like a very strong start from Pepegas. A very different round start as than we saw last time out. Fantastic work to chunk them. Not sure what happened to Gator there. You just saw that health bar completely evaporate as they get absolutely Thanos snapped away.
More Marvel references here.
Gator coming in very deep, enabled by that bubble, but Mori with one to max, but Mori goes down early. You have traded main tanks. This is going to be a chaotic fight, but Jibba with the coalescence, that's how you run the Moira, and when you win the fight as Moira, just that little bit of extra healing could be so crucial in charging your ultimate first. We see Mooncat here about to, stays alive with their coalescence just coming online as Jibba was able to pop theirs at a very crucial time to close that fight out. But Gator with the Earth Shatter, they are 2 for 2 so far, 4 fight-winning shatters, and this could be another one coming up. Here it is, does get blocked, but Mori does get iced off, and Mori chunked down very low, is frozen and stunned, pinned up against all that ice, cannot be too comfortable. Gator pushes on through with a lot of aggression. Massman does get out, Chris over to the side, trying to protect your Reaper as they try to go in with the Death Blossom, and they do, gets 2. Sebi picks up 2 as well. Massman trades the life for it, but it doesn't matter. That is another fight won for Pepegas as they come past the halfway mark on the point, Wukong.
Seems like the Pepegas did their research in a matter of minutes to counter them, or finally
The shatter might have been blocked, but the wall right behind Gator there and the collapse was fantastic with the Massman going into the backline to protect their team. But the Blizzard does come out here. Gator with the bubble, crucial here to save, but it doesn't matter. Mr. Link does go deep for a Death Blossom, only finds crits, and they are still 1 down in this team fight here. Alright, that's a Blizzard charged up. Mori gets caught in the middle of it. The bubble saves them again. Jibba, another huge coalescence, is matched by Mooncats. 2 Irish Death Threes just flaring around on point. Hydra here gets very low. Sebi, basically 1 hit, does not manage to stay up. And Gator finds 2. Mr. Link finds another, and it is a point flip over to the Pepegas in overtime. Once again, they do have to play perfectly if they wish to close this out nice and early, Wukong.
The NA Ult finally takes and starts getting percentage here right at 99 with the Pepegas.
Mori and Sebi with the double tank ult up. Very curious to see if and how they combo those.
And they switched up with the Pharah.
And the grab comes out, and it's very aggressive very early, and that is your tank line down extremely early into the fight. I'm big fan, Wukong, of when they time that grab and how early they used it. You don't need a huge grab, just pick up the tank line, Wukong.
Yeah, it was really good use on NA Ult's part, getting out the tanks first, making the whole team back up.
But Pepega is here with some abilities coming online. Talk me through these combos, Wukong. What are we expecting to see this next fight?
Probably a good shatter with the, if they get it in time, one of the DPSs can combo with either shatter or the grab. Probably, hopefully, see a
DPS
Reaper,
combo with the grab. You heard it here. Verso on Oasis Street.
Oh,
and finds 3. Wukong Call of the Mirage comes through. Jiro goes down, but so does Mori. That's a tank 4. Tank breaks off over here. Massman gets 2, gets 3. Fantastic from Massman over here as you go clean up as the Reaper. And Hydra does what a Hydra do best. Rain down damage from above. 99, 65. And they do manage to watch this out, Pepegas. And that is a 1-1 Pepegas versus NA Ult here in the Overwatch Oasis League.
And the first
Wukong,
the
Death Blossoms having been massive this round, especially considering we lost the D.Va and everybody suddenly getting 3Ks with the Reaper with the Death Blossom. Wukong.
Seems like that Shatter was like on point. Then they dropped the they dropped Pharah's ult, and cleaning up with the Reaper's Blossom was really nicely done.
I mean, when you only have one fight left, can't take it with you for everything you got. Now, we have NA Ult here running a very traditional dive composition. We'll be very curious to see who they end up diving. Maybe instinctively you think maybe Hydro, but they do have the flashbang to keep them up. The peel has been there so far this round, so I'll be very curious to see if they execute a dive. And, well, not this fight, because Gator gets taken out very early. Massman just feasting on that perfectly spherical hitbox of the overweight hamster, and legit goes down to crit, and that looks like an early capture for Pepegas if nothing goes horribly wrong.
I'd like to see
Hero gets demacked at a very crucial part of the fight. Hydra does spare them any blushes and kills them off very quickly and does not force them to remech in that very slow and painful process. Mr. Link here in the backline on the Sombra. We'll be very curious to see who they end up hacking, Wukong.
I'd like to see a good EMP bomb. It's probably my favorite thing to do as a D.Va.
Gator here does manage to dive, go in backline, not even a dive, just finds Hydra. Now it's a 6-on-5 fight with a lot of your long-range damage off already. Great little anti onto Mori, but Mori does get healed up. Sebi is hacked, no abilities for now and no bubbles for their team, keep their charge up. D.Va does take the high ground here on Hero. Gator does go down. Jibba takes down Legits. Gator rezzed, but Mooncat goes down. You're just left with the one healer, and Jibba very, very good with the coalescences every time they have popped on today, Wukong.
She's just really good with their coalescence, like uses them whenever they're needed and gets them really fast. I've seen at least 2-3 a match from her the last round. And she uses them perfectly.
This will heal.
Here we have NA Ult continuing to stick with the dive, the barrage online with the nano boost, and Hydra does get found early by Euro. This could be very interesting, but NA Ult started that last fight with a man advantage and still did not manage to capture the point, so we'll be curious to see where it goes. The Reaper dives after the Flying Mercy from the high ground. Fantastic pathing here. Massman does give up their life for it. The barrage comes out, finds one, Sebi goes down, finds two. That is a tank led out of commission on the side of Pepegas over here. Fantastic from Legits. Euro takes down crits as well and is looking pretty rough on point. Jibba over here with that Blur beam just keeps zapping away, continuing to maintain that point advantage, trying to get us to overtime, and does go down eventually. And that is a flip over to the Pepegas. Sorry, my apologies. To the side of NA Ult here. But
it's okay.
I feel like I'm repeating myself, but has to be a perfect hold if you want to take this map. Yeah, we have tank ults coming online on both sides. Sebi doing their best to catch him. The bomb comes out early. Doesn't think happen. The EMP bomb, you called it, Wukong, and that is the tank line down. That sounds like a full retreat on the side of Pepegas over here.
Love seeing those.
Great
EMP
work.
bombs.
You throw out the EMP bomb. It's an easy team fight. You hang on two Gators, hamster ult over here, and it is looking very, very good on the side of NA Ult, as Pepegas was not able to charge too much of Sebi's grab over here. Could be crucial for this next fight. Jibba coming close to another coalescence. If history is anything to come by, every time Jibba hits triangle, that is a team fight for their team. The mines come out, but so does Uppo, but the counter beat and the counter EMP comes out. Fantastic Shadow gets the tanks down. And it is a death blossom in the Blacklight. Gator does finally get chunged down. That's the first death of this point. Mooncat goes down. Euro gets demacked by Sebi over here. Massman on a rampage through that back line. Fantastic way to flip that point over for the Pepegas, and that timer is ticking out. The first points over here to Pepegas on Oasis. Fantastic map so far over here, Wukong.
You know, and I thought NA Ult had it with the first round winning it, but Pepegas.
That first round looked so dominant.
Yeah.
At no point did I thought, like, after the first round, I was like, oh, it's a 3-0. We're all going to go home early. Like, I'll get to catch the end of the finals. But no. Gator here, well-deserved player of the game. Just absolutely floors the entire enemy team. But great round here. And some wild cards. Mooncat and Jibba showing us the crazy stuff a good Moira can do, and it is 1-0 to the side of the Pepegas here in the Overwatch Oasis League. Stick around after the break. There is no break, we have no sponsors, I'm still talking. Wukong, talk me through Jibba's performance so far. The coalescences.
Like, her ults were on point. She held on to the point to get it to 98%, you know? Each percentage counts. And she was able to hold it just enough for them to come back to as well and complete all the way to 100%. Like they all grouped up fine, and then just her coalescence were just life-saving, and her healing, you saw it at 15k, and it was what a good Moira can do. Coalescence, healing, and a little bit of DPS in there, and it's nothing bad with that.
Alright, chat, fill this dead space for me. What are we thinking? Early MVP picks? Talk to me about if Maskman is contractually obliged with a name like Maskman to play Reaper for the rest of the map. Let me know, chat. But Maskman, jokes aside, fantastic performance on the Reaper over here on University as well as City Center, I believe it's called. Fantastic work. Those Death Blossoms perfectly timed, tearing through the backline, but of course, do not forget Gator shatters throughout that entire map, especially round 1, Wukong.
Giro was probably great on the D.Va. I loved seeing the D.Va with him playing out. I'm a D.Va one trick myself, and I love seeing D.Va plays. I mean, I'm not calling him a D.Va one trick, but I'm saying me a D.Va one trick. I love seeing
You heard it here first.
Play.
Wukong is laying down the smack.
No, I'm not.
Arrest this man.
No, I mean, he played Zarya too, so I can't even play Zarya. So I already has that in hand.
Troubling signs here on both teams, though. A big weakness that our producers have informed me of and have identified from the booth, the very professional booth that they have over there, that neither of these teams have matching player icons. Could be a sign towards bad comms. Maybe team harmony a little bit off. NA Ult is managed to match some of them, but could be a problem later on in the series.
I don't really think that could be a problem, but there's always gonna be one person at least who doesn't match them. You know, they gotta stick true to their icon.
I feel like the only way to truly coordinate player icons is the way the Fusion did it against the Titans last week. They made it so their icon spelled out Chipsa. Absolute lad, that is Chipsa. But welcome to the Overwatch Oasis League. We are 1-0 up to the Pepegas here in week 4 of this tournament. Pepegas starting out very strong, looking to get their first win of the season off the table here. We're going to Hollywood next on this hybrid map. Talk me through this point A defense that's usually run here, Wukong. Well, what do we usually see? What should we expect? Any surprises?
Probably, I would automatically think an Orisa on defense, but I haven't seen that lately, so I would probably think another Reinhardt or a Sigma coming through with the Zarya or a D.Va as well. I've seen D.Va and Zarya working really well in attack though. So, and on as the supports, I would like to see a Baptiste and a Lucio. Probably a little bit more healing with going with the Moira or a Baptiste. As DPSs, there's always never go wrong with the Mei on defense, and anything else on as another defensive DPS would be great. Widow's usually a big pick, or if you know they just want to throw it in there for fun, be a Bastion. I've seen Bastion a lot on Hollywood defense.
Diva Zarya, spoken like a true diva, one
Yeah.
trick. But no, you're totally right. I think Orisa on this map able to establish those incredibly long engagements and line of sights on point A here, as well as through streets. Because the streets of Hollywood are not like the streets of most other maps. The streets of Hollywood have these incredibly long sight lines that an Orisa could usually take care of. And jokes aside on your diva call, the high run control becomes crucial as we come through streets. As we try to make sure that the Ashes, the Reapers, and the Widows of our life aren't taking over this map. Also, if you're, have a mega brain, you use that rotating platform in the back of point A that goes ups and down. Hide a little torp turret there, put a little bastion on there, get something saucy going back there, just up and down all day long. But very excited to see how these teams roll out. And if you're Wukong, hoping Euro sticks on the diva.
I hope so. I like seeing divas.
Our chat over here very unhappy for Wolf switching their player icon off the Belgian flag to the British one. Peep this segment on Watch Mojo's top 10 anime betrayals. Sorry, we'll cut you off. What were you saying?
No, it's okay.
Before I made my very intelligent point.
I was saying if if Pepegas follow up with Wolf and Mori's flags and just start putting their flags would be a good icon.
An international roster here from the side of the Pepegas, battling time difference and jet lag to make this work.
1 second real quick. I'll be right back.
Alright, call me Jake, kids. I'm solo casting. Interesting. There seems to be a technical issue with our stream because it shows that we have 9 viewers, but only 2 of them participating in chat. So, looks like something's definitely missing over here. Something the imbalance can't be possibly true. So get going, kids. Help me fill this dead space. My goodness.
Sorry, I'm taking care of something real quick. Give us a bit of a
No
little
worries.
break.
Let's make this lobby. Carrie Cass is right. Thank you, Tiny Tim. Very interested to see Tiny Tim here in the chat, as it seems like Tiny Tim 0 through 396 was taken, but here we have the 397th Tiny Tim in human history. Welcome, Tiny Tim. Sorry you were born too late to claim any numbers smaller than 397. A sim attack, chat is telling me. A sim attack is always juicy. Running with a full Rhyme Brawl comp could always be exciting. But the other thing that you do need to watch out for when you run a sim is that you are admitting that you are okay to run a cheese comp. And if that's fine, grab your lactate and book a flight to Wisconsin. All the cheese in the world. So we have some big switches coming up from the side of NA Ult with what looks like basically, well, we have 4 players being subbed out, so not quite a full lineup switch, but filthy unprophetic as a brand new tank lineup over here. Very curious to see how they do together, and if that means we're going to get some very serious shakeups on the composition that NA Ult end up running. We have Ordinator and Mr. Link continuing to stay on in the damage position. And please, as I show my handwriting and get this down on my trusty notepad here. And Masked Man over here being subbed out for Dre in a number that I am too dumb to be able to read properly. After a fantastic display on the Reaper, multiple spin to wins coming back out. Love to see the Beyblade meta. And Wolf coming in to Spritz next to Jibba. Alright, it looks like I lied to everybody. Mr. Link is back in as looks like we're having a connection issue on the side of Bigo Taquino. Stand by, chat. Chat raising a very, very good question. Why am I doing this? The reason I am doing this is because I've never met my neighbors, and I'm too shy to approach them and say hello. And I thought the best way to be face-to-face and to really connect with the people that live in my building is to get them to file a noise complaint on me. So I'm here yelling and screaming my little heart out, hoping that I get an angry and passive-aggressive note slid under my door. And it is a worrying sight to see so many level 1 endorsements come out. Good thing we don't have any ability to chat here in a team chat, or we'll see some Carpe BM come out. Looks like we are just about ready to get underway. We are past the 7-minute wait mark, but we try to be lenient and nice when there is a disconnection issue. Mori and Sebi here matching the San Francisco shock spray. I promised myself, this is painful because I promised myself I wouldn't check scores and find out how they're doing. But every part of me, like I got nails under my butt, chat, like just trying not to switch over and watch that stream. The real question is if anybody will notice if I commentate the Overwatch League game over this gameplay. Now it shows to see how useless a caster really can be when they say as many useless words as I do. But here we are popping into Hollywood. Don't be confused, this is a film studio and not actually an old-timey Western town. Movie magic, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy how that works. Wukong just tying a knot on a wonderfully timed bathroom break. Welcome back, Wukong. Refreshed and 3 pounds lighter.
Ready for battle.
Alright, here we have Pepegas. Continuing to take Coach Wukong's advice over here, running a Mori on the Orisa with Sebi to make a double barrier. Hydra over here with Dre, making Ash and Junkrat lots of barrier pressure. Look how prophetic with your little flimsy monkey bubble with Des Moines and Jibba, wrapping it up with the Baptiste and Mercy. Filthy Reindeer over here looks like teasing us with the Diva, and Mr. Link looking like hopefully will be running a Pharah. Very interesting to see as both teams have extreme shield break pressure, and happy to see a battle of the barriers come out.
So we see an Orisa coming in from the defensive side.
Mori over here already spamming lots and lots of damage down. That choke, Prophetic gets chunked down to half, but no worries, you got a Baptiste right behind you. Barrier looking very unhealthy. Prophetic over here doing their best to keep that up and alive. Mr. Link taking an off angle over here, finding some angles of fire onto that back line, but the Ash claps back. Hydra with the first elimination of today's map, but it doesn't matter. You do not make mistakes. You just have to pick mercy. Mr. Link is back up and healthy, trying to be a nuisance and cause a ruckus on the backline. Prophetic drops onto point, starts swinging away on Sebi, gets chunked down low. Barrier up. The immortality, the dual immortality comes out. It's whichever Frisbee breaks first. Coordinator here, forced to retreat just a little bit, but continuing to pump lots and lots of damage into Sebi over here. Filthy Reindeer setting up a great little off angle. Sebi goes down. Prophetic is slightly out of position, but nobody collapsed on them. Mori left alone on point, and that is going to look very tough. Great push on the side of the NAL. That is a first fight capture, Wukong.
A very good fight on the side of NAL.
The only mark on their success over here is that Ordinator does go down to a Junkrat trap. So that's always going to live in our memories.
Out of my way! Come on, I got a tea time to make.
Prophetic over here trying to take an angle, trying to use some cover, knowing that they have less barriers than the other team, swinging away, trying to gain some ult charge. But Sebi over here ready to match with that shatter. But the tire comes out, looks straight, chases straight on that backline and goes for a lap, does a runner. Junkrat does die as it happens, but does find Prophetic onto the line. But doesn't matter because Ordinator has a tire of their own. And Big O over here gets the res onto Prophetic as NA Ult continues to roll through streets of Hollywood, coming into hangar and studio over here. Prophetic taking another aggressive position, just trying to discourage the opposition from touching too early. Dre over here with the Widow. Hydra taking down Mr. Link. Looks like they have identified the Pharah as a problem spot. But Dre onto the Widow, they're probably hoping that they get more than one fight here on streets, because the Widow this is not always the best pick when they go inside. Sebi over here trading shatters with Prophetic. Prophetic does go down, and Odinator trades their life as well for a kill onto the Soldier. So just a moment here for Pepegas to stabilize, and Dre finds the early pick as Mori DMX the Diva, and Dre just to finish that job off. Fantastic work over here, and those pickoffs are going to be crucial in buying them a little more time, Wukong.
Sorry, we see Mori
losing that fight so early on the point A. You're going to hope to pile on the pressure in streets to make your job in hangar a little easier. Just taking their time with their pathing NA Ult over here, sending Diva up to the high ground along with the Baptiste. Curious to see what off angles they are able to set up. The whole team going high ground actually. They weren't holding still, they were just waiting for the elevator. Widow laying down, Widow popping the infra site, hoping to find some off angles over here. Everybody gets pulled into the air, doesn't matter, a swing on Sebi. But, oh no, Mr. Link does get popped in the middle of their barrage, and the Soldier replaces that with their own tack visor. The old man gets the job done with the robotic legs, and that is fantastic work. Prophetic here hoping to get an exit kill, but it doesn't matter. They go down early on. Sebi does stay up and grants their team lots and lots of ult charge for the side of the healers. Pepegas continuing to hold strong, Wukong.
I was curious to see how Hydra would have pulled off that visor, but he did amazingly better than I expected. I was like, with the
and Dre's headshot onto an ulting Widow, onto an ulting Pharah, and now Mr. Link switching off the Pharah to match the Widow, losing the duel immediately. Dre is on fire, feeling themselves today. Filthy does die, but the peel from Jibba is there, keeps Dre off and healthy. Filthy is forced to retreat. Link continuing to stay on the Widow to match this duel. Mori laying down lots and lots of damage, lots of shield pressure onto the Reinhardt over here, along with the Hydra. That Reinhardt barrier is going to take a punishing up against an Orisa and a Soldier, with hopefully that being chunked down and Dre being able to do some damage from the backline. Mr. Link and Dre ignoring the team fight. This is a Widow 1v1 with a team fight on the side. 2 games for the price of 1. I'm kidding, it's free. Budweiser here taking that high ground with Prophetic, trying to wrap over a similar pathing they did for last fight. Drops them onto the payload, finally gets that moving. Oathinator here playing very close to their tanks, finally takes off for the off angle. Widow shots continuing to come out as the Bati square is mashed here. Off both teams, but the shatter comes out. Prophetic is floored. Somehow stays alive. The counter shatter blocked by Sebi. Fantastic work. The mind games on the Rhine today have been ridiculous. Bagel over here to challenge Hydra on the by jail over here, and Odin here taking a great little off angle, just firing into the rear of those tanks, and NA Ult finally managed to crack this point wide open as they push themselves into hangar. Wukong, the Rhine mind games.
I'm still curious to see how the Diva Bomb's gonna happen here. 2 sleuths on defense is kind of hard to do, especially with Baptiste's immortality. That's 3 good blocks of a Diva Bomb.
Diva Bombs haven't been good since Season 1. Changed my mind. Now it's just a glorified zoning ult, just like High Noon. But Filthy here hoping to prove me wrong, and Wukong here already laying down the smack. Jimma gets chunked down low, pops all green to keep themselves alive and to sustain their team. Dre over here, infra sights ready to go, Link with one ready to match if necessary. But Dre continuing to win this duel and take this Widow battle. Filthy tries to get some high ground into bottom of the Widow a little bit, but Dre gets out of there. The old man visor is deployed over here, does not find anybody just quite yet. The Diva Bomb comes out, doesn't find anybody, and no, it doesn't. The hammer comes down. The Shadow doesn't quite find anybody, but Sebi matches one with their own. The Rhine battle continues. They are matching each other blow for blow when it comes to Ultra, but the beat comes out with the Supercharger to meet. This is going to be very interesting to see how this battle comes out. The Supercharger does get taken out. Bago here in trouble as Mori focuses on them, but great Baptiste immortality field as Jibba zips around the map trying to keep everybody nice and healthy. Mori back up to full health. It is the 2 main tanks right here on the corner at this point, refusing to give up any ground. The Baptiste square does come out. The window is up and ready to go. Filthy here is trying to bother the Widow, and the Widow finally goes down. You're going to assume Dre here is going to switch off to a more stall resistant hero. Sebi here swinging wildly with the Shaddy ready to go, but looks like they do want to save that for a later fight if possible. Buttwise here taking a great high ground over here. Nobody really bothering them as they're bringing down heals. I'm kidding, high ground found them, and the Doomfist comes out. The Shatter is deployed as well. Filthy gets shrunk down to half. Manages to stay in mech for the time being. Buttweiser shrunk down to half as well. Fantastic stabilization from Pepegas over here with that spawn advantage. It looked a little dangerous, but Hero with 6-6, 1 fight territory, take us into overtime. Prophetic Hero with the Shatter ready to go. Lays it down, Sebi blocks another one. Hydra goes deep with that rocket punch. Doesn't find anybody. Drake trying to take an off angle. Mr. Link shooting down and firing down main. Gets Wolf down. Oh my goodness, and it is absolute mayhem on the point as NA Ult roll through to the end there, Wukong.
They take all 3 points with no time left though.
Score.
That was looking spicy at the end from Pepegas, and you were thinking with a stall like that they were going to be able to hold on as they stabilized, but NA Ult realizing that the momentum was not in their way, so they retreated, and it takes a brave shot caller to say back up when there are 10 seconds left on the clock. They do a soft reset, soft regroup, stabilize real quick, and come back stronger than ever to cap 0.3 over here on Hollywood. Welcome to the Overwatch Oasis League. It is 1-1 it is 1-0 to Pepegas versus NA Ult here. NA Ult just managing to push the payload all the way to the end in overtime here in Hollywood.
Ready for battle.
Chat, I don't know what it means when you say caster and then put a bunch of emojis after it. I mean, my brain's smooth as hell. Y'all gotta help me out. Over here we have Pepegas running a Zen with the Ashe on attack. Could be very spicy seeing what kind of damage they could get off. Filthy Reindeer with Prophetic with what is an unpopular opinion, but my opinion nonetheless. Probably one of the most entertaining metas I like to watch is the Orisa Sigma. I know, don't come after me. But something about the art of the double barrier gets me going. Odinator here on the Junkrat with Mr. Link on the Hanzo for once again lots and lots of shield damage, but Mori hopefully capitalizing on that, trying to see that 99% average energy card at the end of the map. Wukong, neither teams decide, especially the defensive team, NA Ult here not taking the high ground. Interesting composition and interesting pathing here. Sebi gets chunked down to half, has to deploy the barrier, hold L2 for a little bit, gets stunned down does manage to stay healthy, so that is lots of ult charge going to the way of Wolf and Jibba, but Wolf himself is being chunked down quite low. Dre taking lots of damage in the backline. Odinator goes down, and it is a 5-on-6 battle here on the point. Prophetic does not manage to land the rock. Mori continuing to be healthy and very, very high charge. That is a Russian woman you do not want to mess with. Sebi lays up the shatter. Just doesn't matter if you have a barrier. I'll walk around it. Fantastic from Sebi. He cracks the point wide open. Odin left alone just to stall out as long as possible. And that looks very healthy. On the side from the Pepegas, throw in a team kill there just for funsies. Sebi with the shatter, Wukong. Talk me through it.
That was a big shatter on his part, taking over the point and getting his team through and winning the wall. Very good.
And they push forward to prevent the contest just with the Zen on point to cap, doing what a Zen does best, spamming the choke with blind orbs. Sebi here getting low though. You didn't want to get too aggressive with this because NAL could potentially make this an aggressive retake. As the Rhines are swinging each other, Sebi does come out healthy and alive. Wukong, you're on ult duty again. Talk to me. What are we expecting to see in this next fight?
Oh, there goes there goes Hanzo's ult already. I expect to see a good
are sent in.
Beat drop here. Probably when they're on their
The beat drop
side.
can be huge, especially with Bob and Dragons coming online. They have to make sure they do not like. Oh my goodness! Forget everything I just said. It's just a tire. It's just.
Very big.
Wow, top 10 anime battles of all time. 6 intelligent and dedicated Overwatch players versus 1 spiky tire. Fantastic over here, Odinator, whipping out the wheel for a 4K. But Sebi coming close to a shatter as well. This man does not miss. Mori with the grab, continuing to hold on with that, but with considerably lower charge than they had last fight. The trans come through to keep Mori alive. The beat comes out as well. The dragons come through. The beat doesn't matter. That is a triple here from Hydra. Fantastic. Wolf just cleaning up on the defenseless Baby Diva, and that is a push for Pepegas. That is a fight won with some two very economical team fights we just watched. 2 ults on each side just to win those fights. These teams saving it for when it matters will come.
I still see the good shatter from the side of NA Ult coming. But Sebi also has his shatter, so that's going to be a good who gets theirs out first. Oh,
the shatter comes down, doesn't quite find anybody. Sebi with the counter shatter blocked as, oh no, it's not blocked. I am a liar. The Dragons does come out to try to counter that and finds 3. The bomb is out, but it doesn't matter. It looks like this may be a very difficult fight for Pepegas to continue to perform on here. Hydra is going to get chunked down and eliminated very quickly by Mr. Link here, and that's fantastic defensive play on the side of NA Ult.
What are you idiots doing out there? We're going the wrong way.
And here we have, for the first time since the beginning of this push, Pepegas with no ults immediately on board. But Hydra hoping to get to that Dragons nice and quick. Filthy with the Diva Bomb along with Odinator. Lots of explosions online for the side of NA Ult. But Budweiser goes down early. They may have to pop these ults. Bingo goes down as well. You have no support. Filthy goes down. The tire and the bomb comes out. Who do they find? They find Wolf. They find Sebi. This fight may be still winnable. But remember, they have no supports on the side of NAL. This could be very difficult. Sebi does get res, and it's just a lone Baby Diva on point. Wukong, we are now moving into Hangar. No, we are not. As the contestants come through with the frisbee. Bingo with beats. Hangs on to it. No, it does not. No, they do not. Budweiser does go down, and that last place you want to be lying on the ground still is in the middle of some dragons, but the fight is not over. Sebi does get dropped, but Sebi incredibly healthy. The shadow doesn't find anybody, but Jibba is extremely low as they try to back out nice and safe. Valkyrie is deployed to stay alive. We have a minute left on this map, and both teams throwing the kitchen sink in to try to get this capture, but Pepegas is forced to back out, Wukong.
See, the Pepegas only got at least 1 or 2 good fights left if they can group up and come back. Probably just 1 good fight here.
This is going to be tough, especially considering the ult economy here, Wukong.
I see at least. Yeah, there's probably a Bob on the side of the Pepegas to win it, but Hanzo over on the NA Ult. We saw him get a huge dragon, so no doubt he can get another one.
And keeping in mind, Mr. Link finding value off dragons without the assistance of a grab, that is some big brain play. Sebi here pushing up onto point as well. Odinator and Vago drop very early into the fight. Dragons here just trying to zone Sebi off. Sebi just backs out, forced to take some time as the window is deployed. Bob goes deep, the best robot battler there ever was. Filthy Reindeer is demeched and taken out very quickly. We're rolling into Hanga now as Prosthetic and Mr. Link here being caught out of position. It could be a pretty brutal stagger if they do get... Oh, Prosthetic does manage to find Wolf as they die here. Odinator using the tire here, Wukong. You're gonna have to assume they're trying to switch off.
Sebi here taking down Ordinator. Getting a little advantage on the...
Odinator sticks on by using the tire very, very late in that fight. But worry not, they're already a quarter of their way to it. The joys of being an Australian terrorist. Prosthetic over here, just a little split from their team. Dre coming out with the Widow again. Dragons comes out just to buy themselves a little bit of space. Mr. Link is on top, matching the Widow. Very curious to see how the duel goes this time. Mr. Link finding it difficult to find anything too efficient up for now. Fight is happening directly under them. Wolf and Jibba, layering the support ults as the shatter comes through. Sebi goes down, Mori, sorry, goes down very early in the fight as Sebi is being chased by a German Knight with an anger problem. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. It is one fight territory for the Pepega.
At least a good 20 seconds left. They need to group up and win this, or get
could be curtains. Filthy. Hang on to that Diva Bomb. That zoning so important in OT. Odinator, like I said, no worries, coming off to a Junkrat ult as well. Diva Bomb comes out. The shield is there. The bubble is there. You're just charging that Zarya, but it is a good zoning ult as it buys them some time. Mr. Link goes down to Dre. Jimma goes down as well. Those are traits. Beat comes down. Grab goes in. Prophetic managed to stay alive on the front, but the tire comes out. Finds Wolf. Hydra does find Prophetic though. Odinator gets Sebi chunked down, and it just Hydra onto Jimma. Goes to the ballsy ramp, and it works! And it's both supports on the point, trying their best to stall it out. Jimma, you're braver than I am. Hydra gets big out. This could be huge. Tire goes out, gets destroyed by Mr. Link. Free firing in the backline. They're too busy to deal any damage to them. And over here, the Ryan falls early on the side of Mori, unable to use that shatter. And that is closed out by... closed out by NA Ult here, bringing the series to 1-1 in this halftime against the Pepegas. This is the Overwatch Oasis League. Pepegas NA Ult 1-1 after Hollywood.
Tire. Really filthy
Wukong,
tire.
uncharacteristically today, we are seeing damage ults getting lots and lots of value.
Yes. First the Reaper in the first map, now Junkrat taking the play of the game here.
And I know we talked about Pepegas subbing out Massman over here, but Hydra and Dre stepping up to the plate, giving us another great round of Overwatch. Wukong, I hate to keep harping on about this. Actually, I don't hate to do this. It's my pleasure. Jibba continuing to perform, playing support.
Very great support from Jibba's side.
Sebi Zarya showing up large as well, but of course NA Ult coming along with that win. Prophetic doing very well, holding that tank line down, and not easy, giving the aggression of Mori and Sebi coming in. The tempo control there, very, very huge. Odinator playing a textbook Junkrat. Set up crossfires, fire into big bodies, huge tires. Budweiser and Bigo as well, showing the league what that San Francisco shock spray is really made up of.
Odinator's Junkrat was really, really clutch too. Like the tires were, one was late, but the first one was good, and the second one, the second one was a little late, but other than that, like they were good on his side.
So curious to see what swaps and what subs come out, because usually the way this works, teams have their first two maps planned out. You know you're playing hybrid, you know you're playing 2CP, you know you're playing assault, you know what you're playing. So you put out whatever lineup you think suits that best. But now that you've had two maps to kind of test the other team out, you're at 1-1. You're trying to really flip the momentum back onto your side. Maybe time to make some unplanned and spontaneous switches to counter some of the enemy picks here. Will be very interesting to see what pans out here, Wukong.
We'll see good switches here. Let's see who's coming in. Sorry, I was looking away a bit. We still see this. Oh.
So here on the side of the Pepega, we have Mori Hydra coming back in with Dre and Sebi playing damage. Could be very interesting. Dre continuing to stay in after a fantastic performance, especially on those hit scan heroes. And we're seeing Blood come in for the first time, and Jibba, a mainstay in this Pepegas lineup.
See Hanamura, I'm hoping to see at least a full hold on either side of Pegas or NA Ult. I like seeing full hold matches where they come down to one take.
So Hanamura here, point A, ripe with opportunity to run a Symmetra here, Wukong.
Oh, Symmetra with the Torb, that'd be good, in my opinion. But I play Torb on DPS. Love seeing Torb too.
You heard it here first. The D.Va one trick is starting to branch out. And on the defense, what are we expecting as a defensive play?
Defense play, like I said, if I I would go Symmetra, Torb, and probably the Hog and Orisa work really well on tank side, as well as support. Lucio and probably Moira. Or a BAP too. BAP is really like big on defense in my opinion.
Fair enough. That life-saving frisbee is always a sight to behold as two Rhines are wildly and mindlessly clobbering each other. But Hanamura here, lots of fun as the map geometry does differ quite a bit from point A and B. As point A, if you want to avoid that low ground, that kill box with all the high ground around it, you can just run fast and go hard. Whereas point B, that low ground is the kill box, that kill zone is indeed the capture point. So a lot of teams tend to go for wholesale changes between point A and B, whether they're attacking or defending. We're very curious to see if that pops out. Hanamura B, of course, one of the most infamous stall points given the spawn advantage, as well as birthplace of that famous flower bait as Team Korea took on Team Canada a couple years ago. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Wukong. I'm more than happy to go on about this for a bit.
Yeah, if you'd like to. I'm not big
so
on
Hanamura B, they put, as Korea was attacking a Hanamura B, they put they had Flower start to snipe on B, just to do some poke damage. And XQZ jumped in as Winston to deal with the Widow, and as the Widow dropped, it turns out all Team Korea sent their D.Va to shove the monkey out the window into the waiting hands of 6 Korean players. So the Widow bait was set up. The tank comes in, the CC pushes them out the window, and XQC gets destroyed. And you start that map off with a 6v5. Flower is back up there again. And now Team Canada sends a Tracer to deal with them. The Widow falls onto the low ground. The Tracer follows them onto the low ground, but forgetting Widow has a hook. So Widow just drops onto the ground and then hooks back up, and that Tracer has no way to get back up to them, effectively making a 6v4. These Korean brains just are not the same side as ours.
I need
But
to pay
hoping
attention to Overwatch League more.
hoping here for Sebi to show as much competence and prowess as they did on that tank line. And some coming in on the side of NA Ult, Prophetic partnering Euro on the tank line with Mr. Link continuing to stay on with Odinator on as well, and with Big O and Budweiser. Not wholesale changes, just a change onto the tank line. Curious to see how this plays out. So just a slight delay as we push on into map 3, just some housekeeping we had to get done as the teams are making sure their subs are correct. Just a little bit of insight into the Overwatch Oasis League. This is a Tier 2 matchup in the Week 4 of our current season as Pepegas take on NA Ult. And to qualify to be in Tier 2 or any tier of our league, you have to submit your season high, and players are not allowed to go over a certain threshold depending on what tier you're on. For reference, the bottom tier, Tier 3, the threshold there is 3,000, so plat players are the highest we can get in that league. And as teams make subs, we have to do their math because not only can they not go past the maximum amount, their average has to be below a certain amount, and their sum total has to be under a certain amount as well. Unfortunately, I'm really good at talking and just the absolute worst at math. So between every map, we do have to get that done, and we have to make sure the subs come in and out properly. We have to make sure not only are you under the SR threshold, that your profile is open. We have to make sure that you're eligible to play in every role. We have some people who are, for example, Tier 2 tanks, but Tier 3 damage dealers, so that's always something we have to work out. If you're wondering, I'm a Tier 3 tank and a bronze damage player, so if anybody wants to throw, just queue with me, play as poorly as you can, and I'll do my best and still lose. Last week we played a scrim, and I accidentally locked onto attack, and played Junkrat the entire time and ended up with no damage medals. So that's where my skills lie. But chat, 1-1 here in the league. Incredible Res Tire is correct, as Jiva just absolutely sends it onto the point, right on in OT on top of the cart, 6 enemies all around them. That is a full send mercy if I've ever seen one. Not even with the blaster out. Love to see it. The tire we were hoping we'd get a little more value out of it, but it is what it is. Death on a wheel, what can you do indeed? But everything just being thrown at the wall when possible. Hanamura here, point B, personally, and another unpopular opinion coming in. Point B, the map geometry and structure, in my humble 2300 SR opinion, think that it's one of the most interesting attacking points you could possibly push into. The left side with a teleporter strat, that's some cheese. Good work, take a lactate. But I'm a big fan of the crossfire you're able to set up when you push top right, as you can take the top right and take a left out the door, or you can go all the way up to the top, and you can either drop from there, wrap around the right side, the latter being extremely effective for brawl comps. What I personally like to do is send an off tank to set up an off angle and to just watch the team spit in circles as they try to figure out what direction the damage is coming from. Point A, on the contrary, yes, you could go on the right side, take that bridge across to the high ground. The Chengdu Hunters had that famous teleporter play where they wrapped all the way around the map to make it work. But in my experience, a little more brute strength, a little more just about setting up a good LOS, setting up, making sure your tank's playing at the right tempo, and just making sure all of that checks out. The Torb, extremely effective if the Torb splits off. What is very underrated, maybe now not so much than a couple months ago, the Torb is an extremely effective counter dive hero, as his overcharge ability makes them incredibly durable. So you love to see that on Hanamura point A. The D.Va is very popular as well, as that helps mitigate and gain a lot of high ground control. Orisa as popular as ever. Hanamura really a map where no meta and no comp position is bad as long as you play it properly. When played well on Hanamura, a dive comp and a bunker or a death ball really works as well as any other as long as executed properly. And point B, maybe probably don't dive point B, but point A is kind of, a lesson in map design, as annoying as that first initial choke is to get through. Also, that choke looks like it's made of that gate looks like it's made of some very, very old and well-maintained wood. And then a stick of Ashes Dynamite should, in theory, just burn that entire structure down. So, Jeff Kaplan, I know you're watching. I know you're one of our 18 current viewers on the stream. Hello, welcome, Jeff. Also, Nerf Echo. But a little known secret is that Overwatch Oasis League, we hand out bonus points to any attacking team that spawns and manages to contain themselves and not destroy every single arcade machine in that original spawn room. Over here, it is extremely expensive for us to replace all that equipment. So if you need an extra dub, just hang out in there and don't hit any buttons. And of course, the map pool for the next couple of weeks. After Hanamura, we have Watchpoint Gibraltar. And we are confirmed for map 4, given that it is 1-1 for everybody. Watchpoint Gibraltar lends itself to a lot of dive on point 1 as you come through that initial choke, trying to wrestle that high ground. And as we have seen, whoever gets high ground in this game wins the fight. So what I'm saying is that Overwatch are basically the Star Wars prequels. I have the high ground, Moira! But coming into Hangar, Great Widow point here. Lots of places to hook onto. The high ground stops being a point for the entire team to go and contest and becomes a playground for Widows and McCrees and Reapers and Divas to jump all over. And then Li Jiang coming up next. Chinese map in our rotation. And Li Jiang is an absolute cluster of different metas that work, different metas that don't, and of course, as with any good CP map, lots and lots of areas for your Reddit Lucios to get all the poggers that they could possibly need. Gibraltar, also a map where a lot of teams now, either for practical purposes or for the memes, like to hide behind that big thing of cargo right at the beginning so the enemy can't see what comps they're running. Because there is just a massive window. Lord Winston really locking themselves out with just the loveliest corner office you could wish for. So, be it for tactical and meme reasons, you gotta stay safe and stay hidden. But Hanamura should be kicking off soon, as our bookkeeping, our maintenance, and our general shenanigans just take us a second. I'm running out of synonyms, and I'm just talking and filling this dead air to the best of my ability, chat. Any help is appreciated. I am out of breath. My favorite map, Tiny Tim. I don't think I don't think I'm allowed to have an Overwatch account if I say anything but King's Row. But if I could offer a twist, King's Row Christmas. You know, their Christmas lights going. There's snow on the ground. It's just a little slippery. Lucio feels like he moves faster. King's Row Christmas is my favorite map, and other than that, Li Jiang during the day. I think it's really nice to see the sun cut through all that Li Jiang, Yangshuo smog to make it work. Guilin, a relatively quieter part of China, but you know, has his bad days with the weather. Very misty in those mountains and by that river. So very nice to see a sunny day in Lijiang by Yangshuo. It is much more festive to see it to see King's Row in the Christmas lights. Lijiang less festive in the night because all the Chinese New Year decorations are gone. But you know, you win some, you lose some. Big fan of King's Row during the Omnic Crisis as well, to see how that map looks during the day and when the terrorists are attacking. Controversial take here on the Overwatch Oasis stream. We are anti-terrorist. Fun fact. Chat, I'm struggling. Someone give me something. My goodness. Oppression and the UK spirit, I think, go hand in hand. You know, chat. When England is my city, you just gotta commit. You just gotta push hard. You know, rep that England city. Okay, so chat's asking me, and this cannot emphasize this enough, a gold player, how to counter a junk tire. And there is a very simple move that is not only good for a junk tire, but is really kind of a get out of jail free card when it comes to big damage ults like that. And it's called the get the hell out of the way move. So when the tire comes out, you move away. When the dragons come out, you move away. Any damage out, once again, it is called the get the hell out of the way move. Chat, write this down. That is a good question though, Tiny Tim. I appreciate you checking in and making sure it works. But my brain is indeed very large. If anybody of you want to take notes, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram, Charles7Tang. Stalling for his life over here. Just doing my best to stay afloat. But chat really not giving me the content that I'm craving right now. Alright, looks like we are jumping into Hanamura.
Traveling to Hanamura.
And apologies for the delay, chat. And really, more than anything else, apologies for you guys having to listen to me harp on about absolutely nothing for the past what feels like 8 hours. But here we are, Hanamura.
Thank you, Charles, for keeping it alive here.
That's the sound of my Hydro Flask, chat. I feel like that's a deserved break. So here we have NA Ult rolling out with Euro and Prophet. I can't speak. My diction's terrible, chat. It's okay. English isn't my first language. With Euro and Prophetic here on the tank line with the Rein Zarya. Going to be lots of brawl right at that choke. Like, oh, never mind. Euro onto the D.Va. Love to see it. The defense matrix able to eat everything under the sun. Odinator on the Torb, like I said, trying to set up some off angles in the back line and extremely dive resistance. Buttweiser here, Wukong's favorite support on defense, along with Mr. Link on the Reaper and Big O on Lucio. I'm not brave enough to call this attack lineup. I know attacking teams tease me. I ain't falling for that trap again. But looks like Mori and Hydra over here are going to run the Rein Zarya. Yes, no, classic indeed. That is some season 1 stuff. Over here with Sebi and Dre behind them, the double sniper. Love to see it. And Jibba on the Moira, where they have been so effective today.
Attacking that is quite odd, but it can work.
So the Sebi and Drake here staying at the choke point for Pepegas just to deal some extra damage, but the Torp turret is starting to deal some damage. Now this house is starting to line up. The turret goes down, and so does the immortality field of Baptiste as Pepegas starts to wrap over onto high ground and looking for the drop.
That was an odd place to fight. I've never seen that.
But they make it work. They're pushing onto point. Prophetic here taking some damage, but swinging away fearlessly. Euro boosts in just to tank some of that damage. Sebi gets taken out by a turret, possibly the most frustrating way to go in this game. Buttweiser and Prophetic cleaning up. Mori does find an exit kill before being taken down by Prophetic, but NA Ult looking to stabilize after a great first point hold over here. What do you think of the pathing there, Wukong, from from Pepegas taking the high ground on the right side?
That was a good strategy, but like I called it with the Torb and the Bap, there's really good defense on that part.
So over here, Sebi switching off. Going Pharmacy with a Blues really backing them up over here. Odinator's turret is going to be crucial. And at that point, you're just kind of up to the mercy of the RNG gods to see if that turret locks onto anything, or, you know, not lock onto anything because it gets destroyed so early. Field gets dropped early, but the god comes out as well. Finds 4, Beat comes out, Window is still out, and that is a fantastic grab, but an even better response from Bagel, keeping their team alive. You're over here, takes down Hydra, but Odinator is down in the backline, and Hydra is back up thanks to the Blues. Shadow comes down, finds the entire team. That is massive on the side of Mori. Swing away, gets 2, gets 3, and that is cleanup time on the side of the Pepegas. Fantastic work over here for Mori. Finds an opening, hammers down.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Wukong shatters, cracking points wide open yet again on this match.
I guess my Torb Baptiste call was broken through.
New defense point. Objective B.
We have a Bob ready to go on the Pepegas side.
A Bob ready to go indeed. Nothing like a robot butler to really jolly up my day. Sebi over here trying their best to find an off angle. This may or may not be the best point for Farah, but the barrage can be huge. The bomb goes out,
nice bomb.
finds Shiva, Mori goes down as well, and that looks like full Retrimo on the side of the Pepegas as Sebi over here is just trying to get out with that mini health pack. Prophetic over here just swinging away, trying to get Hydra backing up. Blues keeping them nice and topped up though. And they trade kills. Link goes down along with Sebi. Just a couple extra seconds added off to that time. Oh no, Dre does get staggered. That's going to be a full 10, maybe 15 seconds. And anybody who has played a shooter knows every second counts.
Every percentage, every second. That Torb is doing work. Look at that. It's a good line.
Big fan of Odinator's Torb here. The not really using the turrets to create a crossfire. Moji just solid up the backline of their team. The multi-core comes out, but a lot of the team does manage to get past nice and safe over the bridge. The grab comes out, the shatter comes out, the grab finds two, the barrage comes out, doesn't find anybody quite just yet. Mori gets two, does D-Mech, Euro over here. Euro gets taken down by Jibba, and Buttweiser is down as well as they start to get progress on this point. And like you said, Wukong, point progression so valuable on 2 CP maps. Mr. Link comes down mid. Death Blossom may just be the first Death Blossom we've seen this series. It doesn't net a 3k. Euro falling dangerously low. Odinator here zipping around on point. Baby Diva trying their best to use that Baptiste square to the best of their ability. Jibba over here does get punched out of the coalescence. Shatter comes out. Odinator's very low in the back, does zip away. Tracer is a time-traveling pilot. Big O on the point, trying to touch, trying to contest, trying to save Prophetic, but the Lucio healing is nothing to match against Mori's hammer. Bigo staying up, continuing to contest. Jib over here zapping away at their health. Mori staying very healthy with that bubble. That barrier looks very good as well. Mr. Link is being an absolute nuisance and punches the entire team off the map as the sound barrier comes through. Large sound barrier from Big over here finds 4 on his own team. Sebi continuing to zip around in the sky with that own Blues pocket. Are they? They don't contest. It's. Well, come on. They don't touch. Is that? I hate chat. Is that a C9?
Switching sides.
They stalled it out wonderfully, and it looked like they were starting to even out on numbers, getting to 5 on 6, maybe even 6 on 6. But that last 30% just giving up like that. Also, chat, if we could take a second, take a breather. Let me know what the C in C9 stands for. Wrong answers only. But we do switch over. 2 minutes and 8 seconds over here on the side of the Pepegas. Fantastic work on attack with a little bit of assistance from NA Ult's navigation mishap over here. Very curious to see what comps each team rolls out with.
See what Sebi and Oblaz are gonna pick still. Mr. Link and Big O take
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Still haven't picked. Oh, Sebi going with the May. You see Mr. Link going with the Reaper.
Could be interesting here. Chat is informing me that the C in C9 stands for Kraid Shadow Legends. Thank you, chat. That is the winner. You win nothing because we don't have a lot of resources here at the Overwatch Oasis League. But what we do have is 5 Motormouth and Mori running the Orisa on defense. Ice block first out very early by Sebi. You can't help to feel that's a little premature, but I do hear a Reaper being very emo in our backline. That is Mr. Link dropping down, targeting that backline, targeting the supports, and gets the May down nice and early. Prophetic does go down as well. That is a one-on-one trade. Mr. Link tearing through. Nobody really paying them any attention, and Dre takes down Buttweiser over here as well. Mori goes down to Bigo, and it looks like could be very, very good news for NA Ult here as they start to clean up. Mr. Link doing all the heavy lifting there. Teleporting to the backline, very quickly zapping away in the backline. Make sure you wear a harness, wear a brace, protect your back as you lift and carry everybody onto a point A control, Mr. Link. Pepegas here looking like they're sticking with the double barrier, switching Sebi over to the Junkrat, something we've seen more than you would usually expect here, Wukong, the Junkrat on multiple maps in the series so far.
Well, Junkrat's very good on attack and defense, so we're seeing him on either side very, very good and very, let's say, big clutch with the tires.
Fair enough, those big plates coming in these cramped chokes. Mr. Link teleporting to the high ground yet again. Mori gets frozen up, does manage to stay alive, but not for long. The shadow comes out, 5 Euro finds Mr. Link, but Jibba keeping everybody up with the coalescence. Match 5, Big O over here. Oh, this is looking very, very difficult. Pepegas are falling left and right, but Euro and Mr. Link get taken down as well. Could be a stabilization here from the son of Pepegas. Oh no, Budweiser taken down mid-beat. That one is going to sting Wukong.
That was a really good defensive part on Pepegas right there. They're holding up the top point, which is fairly common to see, but it depends if it can get penetrated or not. Oh, and Dre
great use of the word penetrate here, but Dre taking that Big O very early on. Sebi on the Junkrat, on the high ground, you're absolutely correct, Wukong, could be very deadly as they just rain down unchecked nades. As we can see, NA Ult does not really have any heroes designed to go contest a Junkrat on high ground, like a D.Va or maybe even a Sigma. I lied. Euro just switch over to the D.Va. I can see the future. Odinator here onto the Sombra as well. Could be setting up an EMP to combo with something else equally as large and effective.
We're seeing like a little grouping up from both sides, or NA Ult
just taking
up.
their time as NA Ult pushes up towards the high ground on the left side, like we see often. Dre just continuing to find pickoffs early on in the fight, ending engagements as soon as they start, and perhaps nobody hurting more than Odinator, as they're unable to charge up that Sombra ult, which is possibly the win condition on the sides of NA Ult. So, just a little bit of a quiet moment here as Pepegas just stabilize and Dre is finding some picks left and right. That's the danger of running into an Ashe. Use your barriers, Damage. As a tank player, this infuriates me, but we cannot deny the mechanical skills that Dre brings to a fight. Dre falls off the top. The Sombra is challenging. Does Dre stay healthy and alive? Yes, they do for the time being. The Baptiste is pocketing them, keeping them alive.
Oh, they juked them to the right.
And Dre is on the back line. And that is an ankle breaker here as they fake right and go left. The tire finds Super Prophetic and Mr. Link go down. Sebi doing fantastic work here from the high ground. Dre back on the high ground, absolutely free firing with nobody to contest. Odinator here, just trying to. Nope, invisible again. Odinator 60% to their way to an EMP, and they would have hoped to have it up by now. But Sebi on the high ground, Wukong.
That was like a nice classical Allen Iverson ankle breaker, but they stopped it.
An ankle breaker Iverson would have not been proud of, but just confused by, because I highly doubt he plays any Overwatch. Dre over here in that window that they have liked so much so far this series. He's clicking heads and making it work. The Sombra is starting to get a little more aggressive on the side of Odinator. Does get chunked down low, but now 85% on the way to an EMP, and those are the risks that you sign up to take when you switch over to Sombra in that hero pick screen. Dre over here free firing as Sombra is on our right side. Dre will be hoping to that spam damage does catch him. Another ankle breaker as Prophetic leads their team here to that bottom choke. The Ryans here stuck in their own little battle. Jibba here trying their best to keep everybody up and healthy. Prophetic does get chunked down to a half health. Do they stay healthy? Yes, they do. The Shatter comes out, doesn't quite find anybody, and the Baptiste both drop field to make it work. High ground does find Budweiser, and Prophetic goes down as well. This could look pretty dangerous for the NA Ult right now. You may be sweating just a little bit. Oh, and that is a brutal deny on the Euro. Another, possibly not the most powerful, but possibly the most infuriating tech in Overwatch, the body block. Now we have Mori with the supercharger ready to go. Sebi on their way to another tire. Wukong, like you mentioned, those tires looking absolutely deadly so far this series.
Yeah, especially with Bob getting thrown in for distraction and a tire coming from behind. That can be very clutch. Or Orisa pulling him up to run into the Dire. It would be a good combo.
So Odinator here with the EMP ready to go. Finds 2. Oh my goodness,
And
but
here
the
comes
bomb
the bomb.
finds even more. The tire comes out. Sebi finds 2 yet again, but Euro does take them down as they're just in there doing nothing as holding their hero's shot as the Junkrat likes to do. You're over here using Bob's body as a shield. Why have a butler if they won't take any bullets for you? And they do manage to stabilize as NA Ult left with one last push, 20 seconds to go as Euro does a hard reset. You hate to see it. This is looking very, very tough on the side of the NA Ults, but they are working with some very healthy ults. Mr. Link hoping to do and make some big moves. Yet again, Odin in here in the back line, looking for another opportunity to do something very Sombra-esque. Budweiser gets taken down. Great delivering when it measures most. Oh no, Mr. Link comes through with the Earth Shatter, but the follow-up isn't there, and when you Death Blossom alone, the shatters and the damage will find you. And now Hydra swinging away, does take down Protect, and Odinator gets taken out by Jibba. Jibba continuing to deliver on the Mortar over here. Hero gets taken down, and it is just the Lucio to do their best, and the bomb gets sent out just to flex. The shatter sends out just to make a statement, and Pepegas goes 2-1 up here in the Overwatch Oasis League. The score here, 2-1 up, like I just said, after a take from Pepegas on Hanamura, and we are moving over to Watchpoint Gibraltar next. Lovely bomb, great timing on the EMP, and you can't help but to feel that they did not see that coming, given that they were just, you know, raising shield, thinking they were safe in front of the bomb. But with better ult tracking, you probably just do the math and figure that the EMP is charged. But a win nonetheless, 2-1 up in the Overwatch Oasis League for the Pepegas as we move on to Watchpoint Gibraltar.
You know, I mentioned earlier that you said you don't think Allen Iverson plays Overwatch, but for a fact, Luka Doncic does play Overwatch out of the NBA that I know. So probably made a better sense if I called it a Luka Doncic ankle breaker.
Any ankle breaker is a good one in my book. You good, Wukong, I got you. But now, moving over to Watchpoint Gibraltar, very dive-centric compositions that we see very often here, Wukong.
On Gibraltar? I would like to see dive, or on defense or attack.
I mean, either team, just with that high ground control. A lot of teams opting to go all in on that high ground control using that Winston and the Diva in my experience.
On attack, I would that Winston Diva, Ball Diva, Zarya Diva would be a good just push because they have a lot of corners they can use to block off, and like I can see at least one shield being used, but not really necessary on attack.
Wukong continuing to show his colors as a Diva main. But Wukong, while you were gone, a question from chat. Your favorite map?
King's Row has been my favorite map lately. I've been loving it using, you know, Diva, using Ana, Mora, Bap on defense. Like I can use any hero on that map and still do great. Torb, Reaper. Just that map is just my favorite.
Fair enough. I see your King's Row, Wukong, and raise you King's Row Christmas.
Oh, going festive here. I like that. Any little makeover of a map is good.
So here we have some swaps coming through. Pepega's over here. Hydra coming back in for Sebi to partner on the tank line. Dre and Wolf on damage, where I believe we have seen Wolf mostly on support so far this series, and Ket partnering the ever-efficient, the ever-present, and the ever-deadly Jibba at support. Excuse me, chat, while I make sure my notepad is all up to speed. And here, on the side of NA Ult, we have Gator and Filthy back on the tank duo, Mr. Link and Legit playing damage with Big O and Budweiser on that support line. So now, Pepegas 2-1 up to NA Ult. Could get their first win of the season here, Wukong, on Gibraltar.
I would like to see a tiebreaker, but it's also good to either end it or NA Ult coming back with a 2-map sweep here.
Hey, listen here, Wukong. As someone with no stakes in this fight, all I'm in it for is for the attention, so bring on a map 5.
Right.
Lets me scream a little more, try to beat my but you can't help to think, but the D.Va, like you said, the D.Va is an extremely important character. Not so much for getting big picks, big bombs, as the spine of the team, but more than anything else, controlling grounds and deterring the high ground from a lot of enemies' flanks and attacks. And of course, the defense matrix here, just like with your main tank shields. We should be ready to go any moment here.
The defensive matrix is one of the most underrated things. I don't know if it's underrated or overrated, but in my opinion, people seem to not. I've heard from others that it's not good or it's useless, but I've been able to eat, Gravs, Blizzards, Dragons, like Blossoms. It's a very powerful defensive move.
We have Chad here demanding to see Sigma on defense, which is fair enough. If you're defending, you don't need to walk to high ground. You can just start there. The main weakness of Sigma, of course, is A, lack of mobility, and B, the threat of getting those critical hits on your head and also on your exposed piggies. The decision to not wear shoes here is going to hold Sigma back a lot here on Gibraltar.
Unless you're wearing carbon.
Jokes aside, I'm a very, very big fan of running Sigma on attack here, as Sigma is able to take a lot of off angles and really make that high ground work for himself as he's able to sneak his way up there. So, once again, just willing to get going here on Gibraltar. This is the Overwatch Oasis League. Pepegas 2, NA Ult 1. It is match point. NA Ult is so close to the player icon beauty. Tiny Tim couldn't have said it better myself. I am positively melting watching this happening. But it is what it is. We do our best with what we can.
Arriving at
Tiny Tim is also telling us that Sigma has nice toes, but they have seen better. Tiny Tim,
Nice.
you gotta back that play up with some. You gotta back that smack up with some sauce.
That's why I run the talent skin or the carbon
initiating match.
skin. Wearing shoes for Sigma is important.
I think the toes are distracting.
If only he had a kicking melee, that'd be the icing on top for Sigma.
So once again, we are here on the Overwatch Oasis stream, 2-1 up Pepegas versus NA Ult.
Ready
I
for
am
battle.
Charles 7 Tang, paired with Wukong Lu here, the poor man who has to listen to my voice for an hour at a time. On defense, starting with Pepegas, with Mori and Sigma, the classic double barrier with Wolf on the Bastion, with Dre hoping up to set up some crossfires on the Widow. This will be fascinating to watch as Jibba and Ket backs them up. Now, Wukong, unless I'm deeply mistaken, first time we're seeing Ket today.
Which one?
Ket.
Oh, Ket. Oh, yeah. Oh, and running Bap. Oh, my favorite.
All
like
right,
him already.
we have the cheese set up and ready to go. Gate over here with Filthy Reindeer on the classic Rhine D.Va, tried and trusted from Overwatch Beta. Now Filthy already taking the high ground on the right side, looking for a flank, and the Bastion rat-tat-tatting away onto the payload. Gate pop out, the shield you assume will get melted very quickly, but Filthy taking high ground very well just to keep everybody occupied. Now, the Pepegas rotate very quickly. As NA Ult takes this fight, they just decide to run away to the backline. Could be a very, very smart move. Give up some ground, use the payload, see the ground to trade for, much like NXL of last season. Hydro finds Mr. Lake, and you can't help to feel that Bastion pressure is massive at the moment. Immortality goes down right on top of the Bastion, but it does get melted. The boop gets rid of Wolf. This could be the opening that they've been looking for. I am off. Does the Shatter comes down, finds Jibba. This could be very dangerous. Jibba does get it alive. Bago chasing them on the Lucio. Jibba continues to go deep. The support, keeping the support up because boys support boys. Thank you, Gus Johnson. Here we have, and they all starting to roll through. Not sure how I feel thinking about on this Bastion, but Wolf certainly seems to feel comfortable as they continue to fire away behind here. And the two tanks are back on point. We will get a final fight here on the end at this beginning point. Dre does get challenged on the high ground as Filthy goes on and pushes them. We are also now within backup and C9 territory, which makes me, a caster, very, very happy. Gator here dropping low. You assume they have really not a lot of barriers to work with. All he can do as the tank here and as the Ryan is to throw in fire strikes to keep him occupied. Mori gets pinned, but does stay up. The tank mode comes out, but they step off the point for just long enough, and it does come through. I can't believe what I'm seeing. They had a Bastion setup, they had an Orisa, they had two main tanks, two barriers, and they managed to step off the point. My goodness, Wukong.
That was a bit of a, I don't know, I'm just a little shocked about that. They had everybody there.
Gator here continuing to stick onto the Rhine, and Filthy making the gamble that the D.Va is the best bet to deal with Wolf over here on the Bastion, but Gator does go down early, and without a barrier and with that field coming out, layered with Jibba's Valkyrie could be a lot. But Wukong, question for you is, could this be maybe an overinvestment on the side of Pepegas?
A little bit, but you know,
but if it works, it works, I suppose. Yeah, if it works, it looks stupid. It ain't stupid, kids.
They win it. They win it. If they got to give it their all. And Hydra giving up some good old Dwayne Johnsons to the opposite team.
Wolf here just on this block, on this payload, just laying down some fire. But I don't think that's the final resting spot of the Bastion, or it might be. That might be their setup with Dre just above them. So just a one angle of fire, but it doesn't matter as Bingo goes down nice and early. The D.Va does try to challenge, but there's only so much a single lonely D.Va can do as Filthy comes down to half. Dre does get pressured down along with Jibba by that surprise Torp turret, but it doesn't matter. Hydra finds the turret and finds the suit because that's what Sigma does best. Filthy over here mercilessly mowed down by Wolf, as that could have been a very, very lengthy delay over here. Mr. Link just hiding out in the back on the Sombra with the EMP ready to go, very close to Dre. But oh no, Infraset does get popped, so Mr. Link is exposed. Jib over here to pocket Dre as well. This could be a very difficult push. The Infraset is still up for the next few seconds. But NA Ult has a bomb up, has a shatter up. That is a duo as old as time. And by as old as time, I mean 2016, because that's when this game released. Mr. Link hero with the EMP as well. A slightly newer hero, but a tried and trusted combo nonetheless.
Legacy, a good old...
The bomb gets dropped just right on point. The EMP comes out, but the match is just far enough. But goes down anyways. The B comes down to counter that Sigma Flux. Ket in the backline, free firing with not a lot of people bothering them before Mr. Link turns around and forces Ket back onto the high ground. Does look very, very saucy here for NA Ult. The payload is now being moved. It took a second. No worries, Wukong. We got you covered.
As a support man, you know, I worry about the payload a lot.
You heard it here first. The D.Va One Trick is also a support main. As legit turret does go down. Gator drops as well. The tank is invested and doesn't quite find anybody, but the threat of that alone looks like it's able to stop NA Ult just for a little bit longer here. Dre takes the high ground, free firing into that backline, hoping to get some picks. The D.Va gets out, defense major comes in to protect the Torb, and Filthy jumps in to contest the high ground. Dre does get chunked down to half, but Cat doing a very good job keeping them up and healthy.
You gotta say, Charles, your commentating is amazing.
I do my best and I love attention. Gator over here with the Shatter online, along with Legit's Molten Core here that you cannot use when dead. Can't take it with you, ladies and gentlemen. The Molten Core can be very tricky to use on the attack here, but Gator looking to make big gains. The Shatter.
Yeah, a good Shatter with the Molten Core would be great to see.
So, a minute remaining. Wolf committing to that Bastion. Barrier completely shredded by Gator, but they do manage to rotate to the high ground. But Dre does pick up Torb again. Legit's buy a helmet, bro. Dre just popping headshots left and right. The Torb always the victim, and you know the good thing about firing into a Torb if you're the Widow is that if you're a useless body shot bandit like myself and only land body shots, a body shot on a Torb is a headshot because he is 4'4". Gator here continuing to hold on to that shatter. Wolf halfway to tank mode, but more importantly, the space creating Hydra tank ult on that graphic plus is online.
Oh, and
The shatter comes out. Dre gets one. Wolf gets another. Wolf gets two. Mori D-Max legit does drop the Molten Core. Does get the supercharger down. Filthy goes down to Ket. But the Flux does come out. Pulls everybody off the point. It's okay. Big O is touching, but that is a Lucio, a Brazilian DJ against a robot turret. That is going to be tough. And Pepegas holds here at the bottom of point B at Gibraltar, setting themselves up for a very clear and present win condition for this series here at Watchpoint Gibraltar. This is the Overwatch Oasis League. Pepegas 2-1 up to NA Ult and having to push the payload 77 meters for the series win.
One thing I'd like to point out, I've seen some good rock throws from Hydra.
Hydra's rocks have been fantastic, as that could be the biggest part of Sigma's utility that helps out really round out this toeless shoeless kit over here. But Wolf, very efficient play on the Bastion. Chat kind of flaming the cheese, but hey, if the cheese works, it's good cheese. If it looks stupid, but it works, it ain't stupid. So now on the defense, NA Ult over here with the double barrier, as Pepegas showed was so efficient last time with Gator on the Orisa and Filthy switching off the Diva to go Sigma. Legit's here going the Junkrat instead of the defensive Torb. Mr. Link hoping to show that they are just as deadly as Dre on the Widow, with Budweiser and Big O on the BAP and Mercy. This is a composition as old as time. The Bastion with the Baptiste. Mori and Hydra are here looking to match the double barrier, and really fingers crossed they are indeed playing Protect the President with Wolf on the Bastion. This is basically a mirror comp. Very excited to get this going through comp.
I'd like to see Junkrat counter the Bastion here, but that's all up on the Hammer if you can do it.
Going to be very difficult to counter the Bastion if you are throwing your grenades into double barrier. Ket over taking the high ground briefly, dropping back down, and Legit's dropping down to contest. This will be very dangerous. The Kamikaze Junkrat, you're hoping your death mine, maybe get something done, but you stay alive because you are huge. Wolf finally mows down Gator. Big O goes down as well. This is looking like a point win for Pepegas. The Bastion stays strong and stays healthy, but the tire comes through. It's the spiky wheel. It's a 4K. I don't believe what I'm seeing, and they managed to wrestle control of the point, which is so important with Wolf on the Bastion. If you cannot start on the point, the Bastion could be extremely difficult to set up. Legit's taking the risky play, dropping down early, getting those nades in very early on to charge up that tire, and the risk pays off with the 4K Wukong.
That was a very clutch tire. I didn't expect any less from it.
So over here, Mori and Hydra with Wolf trying to take the high ground, looking for a surprise drop. I don't think NA Ult is quite aware of their position, as Gator and Filthy here a little slow to rotate, and Legit does get caught down early, and so does Gator. Dre loses that Widow duel. Finally somebody to contest that deadly Widow, but it does look extremely healthy here for Pepegas, as Wolf is out here laying down the damage. Ket over here with the Baptiste amp matrix up on the high ground. Only amping yourself is not necessarily a bad idea, as Baptiste can be so efficient. Wolf deploys tech mode but does get caught. It's okay, Jibba is here to save lives yet again. Ket wins that duel against Mr. Link, avenges Dre over here, and Wolf does go down. Jibba reses Mori as Ket takes down Legit. The Baptiste is basically a damage hero when played right. Fantastic work, but key over here is that the payload progress is not being made, as the attack and defense have swapped sides. Now, Filthy over here being forced into a tiny room with the rest of their team, as Budweiser does go down. The rest comes through. Mr. Link does get clapped by Dre over here. And Pepegas looking very, very healthy as the payload begins to move. This could be trouble. The payload is moving, but you're caught in this tiny, tiny area. If you're NAL, just eating damage here as the payload continues to roll through. You are forced to make this risky move and push out, but Hydra is all over you as you're trying to push out. Wolf switching off to McCree does get picked up early on in this fight, and the tire comes out. Is it huge? Yet again, Legit, can you make it work? Dre takes down Legit though. This could be tough. Mori goes down, and Dre takes down the Immortality field. Gator does get red. This is looking like absolute chaos and mayhem on the point. Filthy does find Jibba as NA Ult is stabilizing, and it is closing a one-fight territory. We could see a map 5 here, Wukong.
Yeah, that would be very exciting to see just a tiebreaker. The NA Ult coming down hard on the defense.
NA Ult really doing everything in their ability to empower Legits on the Junkrat to do everything they can to lay down that damage and get those game-winning tires or fight-winning individual bombs. But Mr. Link here switching over to the Bastion. You run the cheese, you get the cheese. Eat your lactate, kids. Wolf here does get rezzed by Jibba. Jibba so consistent over this series, and now helping pocket Dre on the bar to counter Mr. Link's Bastion. And Matrix does come out, but very difficult to run directly into Mr. Link's fire there. Ket takes down Gator, Mori takes down Legits. This could spell trouble for NA Ult here as the Ant Matrix is dumped out. And Mr. Link just pumping out ridiculous amounts of damage, takes down Wolf, takes down all of the support and the damage on the side of Pepegas. NA Ult now going tank mode. Hydro doing everything they can, but it is all for naught as they go down nice and early. Mori drops as well. OT ticking down. It is a map 5 here in the Overwatch Oasis League. We are 2-2 between Pepegas and NA Ult. Wukong.
Now what we all wanted, a map 5.
Play of the game.
Legit.
If this is not the tire I am throwing, the rest of this cast. Fantastic work over here by Legits. Like I said, takes such an aggressive drop onto the point, but finds this tiny little angle. And, you know, people like to run, a lot of Junkrats like to run these crazy tires, but as Legits is showing us, sometimes just hit triangle, and just let that tire run directly at the enemy team. It is Pepegas 2, NA Ult 2 here in the Overwatch Oasis League. I'm Charles Tang. We're about to roll into a map 5. You love to see it, chat. The rubber tire spams are coming through. Map 5 looks like it'll be on Lijiang Tower. Every single round of this control map has very unique characteristics. So we're expecting to see maybe, obviously you want to sub your most clutch players in, but also Wukong, your most flexible players in.
Yep. Going on Lijiang, I'd like to see a Lucio come in here, getting the big boops, or also a Brig.
The Lucio, always a pleasure and a sight to behold with the boops, and of course paired along with the Doomfist with lots of CC and lots of mobility on Gardens could be possible.
Control tower is probably with less boost, but still very fun to watch.
Don't mind the hydro flask noises, kids. I am continuing to hydrate. No, I can't. The new lineups are out. I need my notepad. I have lied to everybody. So, on the side of the Pepegas, we have Mori and Sebi continuing to hold it down on the tank line. Hydra is going to stay in, and Mask Man coming back in. We've seen their Reaper do huge things, and like I said, hoping that they have the flexibility to make sure they meet the demands of everything that this map asks for. But Control Center is an extremely efficient, very good Reaper map with crits and Jibba on support.
One second.
Chat, it's a map 5. What are you doing? What are you doing not giving me your craziest predictions? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna be MVP? Who's getting the fat tires? Talk to me, chat. Wukong, the most dangerous game in the business, the prediction game. What you got for me?
What was the question? Sorry, I had to take off my headset real quick.
No worries. I was just saying, I'm gonna play a game called the prediction game. What you got for me?
for MVPs?
No, for the... Well, someone has to win. It's a map 5, my love.
Sorry. Oh.
Take a second, just breathe. Casting stuff, no worries. Who do we see taking this dub?
I don't know, man. They're both really strong teams here, and I can see either one winning, but this is hard to tell. I would say the first one to take the first round would probably be the one. And we got ready from both sides, so here we go.
We should be jumping in any time now. Key matchup here will be to see. I think an underrated part of this game is with the craziness and the aggression of both these teams. The support coming on either side, the heals coming in at just the right time, making sure everybody is topped up and healthy to enable those crazy pushes that these teams like to do. I think that will be key here, and we are arriving at control center here at Lijiang. This is the Overwatch Oasis League's Pepegas 2, NA Ult 2. This is the map 5 decider. Thank you for joining us.
This is one of my least favorite rounds.
Could be a good Reaper map. Maskman over here just rubbing their palms together. Yep, there it is. The May Reaper coming out on the side of the Pepegas. Jiba sticking with that Moira that we've seen them so incredible on, with Mori and Sebi running that Ryan Zarya that we have seen so many times this series. Gator and Filthy with the Ryan Diva, Legits on the Torb, Mr. Link on the Reaper, and Big O on the back Lucio. These are comfort picks.
4, 3, 2, 1.
People are playing whatever they feel the most confident on, hoping that they'll be at the top of their game. It's high pressure. Map 5, and here we go. Over here, Mori immediately takes their room up to the control room with the high ground here. Gate already chunked down to a third of health, and it's a great wall coming out. Does Hydra manage to take advantage of it? Yes, they do. Fantastic move as Gator goes down. The immortality just a little bit out of range to save them. Diva being pressured here, already down to 3/4 health. Legit, and that turret is disappearing as quickly as it was deployed. And Diva being DMAX very, very high above the point, and just looking and hoping for a quick and merciful death here. Leaning up on the side of the Pepegas. And Jiba popping the Coalescence a little early, but it is basically a free ultimate, and if that's what it takes to win the map, that's what it takes to win the map. Jiba over here chunks down Gator and takes down Legits with the Moira. Fantastic. Last man takes down Mr. Link on that counterplay, and with just the Lucio on point, you assume that is an easy flip over on the side of the Pepegas. What a start to this map, Wukong.
That was a very exciting first battle with Pepegas taking the first percentages. I like seeing the Torb on the side of NA Ult though, hoping for a big play, a big molten core, and take all the whole team out.
That fight ending a little early for NA out there, but very impressive for Legits to have the molten core coming down on the flank, buys his team acres and acres of space. Hydro forced to react with the Blizzard. But Gator goes deep, gets taken out by Sebi. This could be looking tough. This is a chaotic fight already. Michelin goes down. Mori matches. This could be very, very tough to regain the point when you're so many players down.
A little Blizzard to cool down the molten core. Nice.
Filthy does get Frieza here and stunned out of mech. But Gator is back. Lands the shadow. Doesn't find anybody and is forced to back out. Jiba finds Filthy. Then Mr. Link cleaning up the fight. Oh no, Mr. Link opening up the fight. Apologies with the Death Blossom. Shatter comes through, doesn't find anybody except for the Torb, but that's enough. The Torb goes down, the Mask Man goes down to Mr. Link as well. The beat is committed on the side of Mr. Ult. This could be huge.
Time to raise my
Trying to bully over here.
Pepegas trying their best to save alive, but either way, they're doing a great job of continuing to gain ult. And jeez. Filthy does get a kill, but Maskman and Sebi are huge! When it looks like they have to start to stall and keep the point ticking, they manage to flip the point with the grab and the Death Blossom. Continuing on the theme of just classic combos, the simple things, the classic things done well. Fantastic work like a northeastern show choir. Simple songs done well. Fantastic work. Jib over here already starting the pressure nice and early with the coalescence. Focusing Mr. Link, but Mr. Link gets crits out with the with the death loss of the shatter comes out. Hydra does defect filthy, and Sebi finishes the job. This is looking very, very tough on the side of NAL. The Blizzard comes out as well. Good luck contesting Gator, and that is 100-0 to the side of the Pepegas. I was thinking NA here would have the advantage after having the momentum after claiming Gibraltar, but Pepegas making a statement on the first point here at Lijiang. This is the Overwatch Oasis League Pepegas 2, NA Ult 2, Map 5 decider. Now, NA Ult has to bring their A game here in order to win this point and to bring us to a point 3 on a Map 5 Wukong.
Now on this side, this is where I'd like to see the boops, and both sides are running Lucio, so I'm excited for this.
The Lucios continue to come through. Jiba sticking with the Moira, where we've seen them so very deadly, with Maskman keeping on the Reaper. Like I said, comfort picks and simple things done well. Here we go on point 2 of Lijiang. The teleporter onto the high ground coming through very quickly. Mr. Link just a couple seconds behind, but they do manage to drop and contest. That could be huge, that little bit of extra time. Jiva does mow down Gator, and the immortality goes down as well. And a very strong start on the side of the Pepegas to this fight. The momentum being carried over. Fantastic work on the side of the Pepegas. The early teleporter, the quick focus fire to get Gator down. Obviously, yes, Jibba got the kill, but the Moira is not doing chunk damage. That is targeted and called out damage. You are only assuming the Pepegas are having extremely efficient comms right now. The Maskman takes down Vega with another 10-second delay. You're having to backs against the wall. NA Ult here.
Now you can see NA taking this round and going into a true tiebreaker, or Pepegas holding it down and finishing it off right on this round. Either way,
talk to me about the synergy that the Junkrat might have after Mr. Link's recent switch. What are we thinking?
I would like to see Fat Tires here.
Fat Tires is the word of the day indeed. And here we have Mori holding down the point already, 3/4 of their way to an ult. Gator trying their best to catch up, but it's tough when you go down so early, but it doesn't matter. You find a kill. That Fire Strike threat at Matrix is so deadly. Maskman goes down early. That's a lot of your close range brawl denied with the Reaper out of the fight. But that Symbol is doing fantastic. Not quite sure about Mori's decision to hold a shield up behind the Symbol there. Mori takes out that tire. No Fat Tires, Wukong. You have been denied. Mori does go down 2 buildings. That is a 4K! Your immortality doesn't matter if it gets shredded as well. Jimmy here trying to keep everybody healthy, and Sebi with the 2 kills to make it a team kill on the side of the Pepegas. It is 1 fight territory on this map 5 for NA Ult. This is looking dicier and dicier. Wukong.
That was really incredible. You know, it made up for the tire not coming in clutch.
That was a great fire strike onto the tire. Maskman going down early, but the big brain play to go down early on purpose.
There goes
Crits!
the boop.
What? I don't believe what I'm seeing. Crits gets the tank line and their Lucio demand butts goes down as well. This could be very difficult. It is a team kill at 99-0. Pepegas takes the win on this map 5 in the Overwatch Oasis League. Pepegas 3, NA Ult 2 in week 4. Fantastic work all around, and I am officially out of breath. Whew.
At least you got your water right
with
there.
The 3-man boop.
You know,
What a play here to close this out.
Robbing Maskman of his play.
NA Ult over here trying their best to get to point as quickly as possible, and when you have so little time remaining, it's so difficult to make sure you're still checking corners and making sure Crits doesn't do anything crazy like that. Crits with the 3K boop and the beat just to flex. Pepegas 3, NA Ult 2. Before we go, Wukong.
Yes.
The MVP conversation.
I think we're both gonna agree, hands down, Jibba will take support MVP.
I don't think that's really a discussion here. Crits trying their best to make up some ground with their 3K, but Jibba so consistent, so present, and so efficient throughout this entire map. Moving on to the damage dealers, this really could go either side, so I actually kind of want to end there. But the tanks, Wukong, talk to me.
Well, the tanks is a little hard too, but I would say agree. Sebi was probably very clutch with his grabs and able to flex over to a DPS. So I would give it to Sebi on the tank line.
I think that's fair enough. I think Euro and Prophetic that also did their fair share of heavy lifting here, but fair enough for Sebi on that pick for the tank MVP, which means it's between legit Mr. Link or the Odinator on the side of the NA Ult Wukong.
Straight up Mr. Link. I like legit Hammer's tires, but Mr. Link there was very. I can't even explain. This is so much good DPS from that side, but Mr. Link really stood out.
I agree. I think Link was kind of the shining star of that lineup, but Odinator really holding their own as well. Could be quite a close touch between this. But if your vote is Mr. Link and I'm 50-50, then it is Mr. Link. Chat, take notice. Your MVPs for the day are Sebi, Mr. Link, and Jibba. This is the Overwatch Oasis League. Thank you for stopping by. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram.
I mean, Wukong, Wukong Lu, if you want to follow me too as well. It's still going. Oh, it ended? No, we're still talking. We're still talking. How do you stop it? Oh, there you go. Okay. Thank you, everybody.